In this lecture, we will look at the formulas tab, which clearly is where you would be spending most of your time. There are other advanced courses that I have on Excel. So if you want to learn these formulas in more detail, for example, if you want to master VLOOKUP, if you want to master if statements, SUMIF, COUNTIF, which is data cleaning, maybe text functions, or if you want to look at financial functions, there are different courses that I have on all of these. So there is a course on date, there's a course on data cleaning, there is a course on financial formulas, there is also a course on lookups. In this lecture, I will just give you a broad outline to show you what are the things that you should keep in mind while writing formulas on Excel. Every formula starts with an equal to sign. Now, some people also like to write a plus, but I personally don't like it. Equal to is what we follow globally as the norm. So please keep this in mind. Once you type something inside the formula, the same thing appears in the formula bar as well. So if you want to, you can directly write it in the formula bar and the same thing will appear inside the cell. There is no difference. When I write 1 plus 1, you will have to press enter to confirm the formula and the result comes instantaneously. You can see the result in the cell and the calculation can be seen in the formula bar at the top. But if you double click on the cell or if you press the function key F2, you can see the formula inside the same B2 cell as well. Let's do something a little more complicated. So we have 10, 20, 30, and I want to get the sum of these three numbers. Now there are a couple of different ways to do this. I can write equal to sum and we can drag and select all these three and press enter. Or we can even write equal to sum and we don't need to drag and select it, we can simply type it. I leave that choice up to you. There is nothing right or wrong here. We use both of these things at different occasions. There is another way of doing this. We can put an equal to sign and then click on this FX button, which is the insert function button. And it opens a box for us where it asks us which formula or rather function we want to use. If I say sum, it gives us a list of all the functions which are a type of sum. Press OK. And now you can simply select B2 B5 like this. Watch again. If you notice, I don't have anything selected right now. If I click on insert function and I say sum and I press OK, it is smart enough to detect that I have values in B2 to B5 and it is selecting it. But why is it selecting B5 despite the fact that there is no value in it? It says 10, 20, 30 and 0. It thinks that you want to select all the 4 even though we want to only select 3. But if you want to make a change, you can always do that. We can write B2, B4 inside this. You can also select the insert function from here. The shortcut is Shift F3. Same thing, either the FX here or the FX on the top left column. Like I said, I will not be taking you through all the formulas in this course because all of these things have been very well covered in the other courses. But I want to give you some tips that all of you would be able to use. Let's say I have some values. Like this. Now to find the sum of these numbers, we can either write sum of B2, B13. But the problem is that it is fixed to B2, B13. Tomorrow if another value gets added, the sum does not get updated. What you can do is to simply write BB, which means you're selecting the entire column. And this means that even if you add another number later on, you notice that the formula keeps on getting updated. A third way of doing this would be to select the entire column and give it what we call a name. Two ways of doing this. We can either click on the name box where my cursor is there and put in a name here, for example, sales. Or we can also select define name in the formulas tab and we can give a name called sales. So sales refers to sheet 3 BB, which is column B. And now if I want to get the result, I can simply say sum of sales like this. Which one is better? I leave that up to you. The second one is obviously more descriptive and it's easier for you to write, for you to modify, and for others to understand. But of course, for more complicated calculations, you have to select every individual element like this. Then we have formula auditing. Let's take an example. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at sales. Then we also have discount and profit like this. Now, if I want to find out what is my net profit, what we will have to do is, because I'm selling at a discount, I know that my net profit is nothing but equal to sum of this, right? So 1092. But what if you want to do something a little different? Maybe not the net profit, but let's say we have the sales value, we have the discount percentage, and we also have the cost, which is the cost price. And now we want to know our profit. So what will it be? It will be equal to the sales amount, which is discounted. Remember? So what we are saying is that 16 is the actual sales amount, but we are discounting it by 20%. So we can write 16 into 1 minus 20%, which is 80%. And then I multiply that, I get 12.8. And then I know that my cost, which actually should be a little higher. So give me a moment. Okay, that's much better. So this is telling me that 12.8 is the multiplication of what? Of B2 into 1 minus C2, which is 12. So 15 into 80% is 12. But because my cost price was 14, if I say D4 minus this entire calculation, or rather D2 minus this entire calculation, it will tell me that my total profit was 2, 4.8, 5.6, 9.2. And do you see this? It's a negative 5.2. Let me just confirm the formula. No, it should be the other way around. So selling price minus the cost price. So let me do it as minus D2. Perfect. Now all of you can see that all of my records is incurring a loss except this one and this one, where I'm actually earning a profit, 5.2 and 1. But what if you want to see this result in different steps? For example, if this is the sum of my total profit, which is negative 37.4, so we're incurring a loss, and let me color it red. How do you see the calculations step by step? Please watch. If I go to formulas and select evaluate formula, it shows me that the formula is sum of F2, F12. Simple enough. But what if we combine these two formulas into one? Right? So think about what we are doing. This one is actually not just one calculation, it's multiple arithmetic operators. There is a subtraction, another subtraction, and a multiplication. Now when I select evaluate formula, you would notice that the first thing is B2 is a value which is 15, C2 is a value which is 0.2, 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8, and 0.8 when multiplied by 15 is 12, and 12 from which we subtract 14, we get a result minus 2. This is how it works. This is how it shows you step by step how every single intermediate level calculation is happening within the one formula that you have written. Now this can be very handy, especially when you have very long and complex formulas which you're trying to build. And also when you get an error in your formula, it can be very handy to go back and see at what step exactly did the error happen. We also have options called trace precedent and trace dependent, which means that currently my cell F 2 is linked to some input cells, which is B2, C2, and D2. So if I say trace precedence, it tells me that these three cells are actually creating F2. Let me remove the arrows. If I select minus 37.4 and I say trace precedence, what does it do? It selects this entire range. So it is basically telling me that all of these cells are a part of 37.4. But if I select all of these cells and I say trace precedent, I get an arrow like this, which tells me that all of these cells are linked to B, C, and D column. Especially for financial formulas, when you want to audit complex and long formulas, this can be very helpful. If you want to see the formula in all the cells at the same time, you can click on Show Formulas and it reveals all the formulas like this. And you can turn it off. The watch window is helpful when you want to track a formula on another sheet. For example, let's say that I have written equal to sum and I'm selecting these values. So you notice that we get minus 37.4, everyone. But if I make a change here, like if I make this 25, how do I know how that number on the other sheet is getting impacted? To do this, we will click on watch window and we will say that we are adding a watch for this cell, which is AE2. So do you see this watch window here? Let's just keep it on the right. Currently it tells me that AE2 on the sheet 2 is giving a value 37.4. But if I make a change here, which is 25, do you see how this number is changing? Very, very helpful if you want to track how a change in my current sheet is going to impact the other sheets. You can also see the formula here. You can see the workbook name, the sheet name, any range name that you're given, the cell reference, and the value. It can even obviously work with other workbooks, and there is no limit. You can add as many watches as you want. Then we have calculation options. Now, for most of you, you can ignore this. You don't have to change it from automatic to manual. But I will tell you when it comes handy. If you have really long and complicated Excel files, I'm referring to 1 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh records. There is a possibility that the file starts to slow down. Now, what we can do here is we can set it to manual and just see what happens. I'm changing 14 to 24. Now, this obviously means that the profit should have changed, but you would notice that the formula is the same, but the numbers do not change. Unless and until I say calculate now, the result will not change. So what does that mean? It means that we are holding on to the actual calculation till the moment the user explicitly tells Excel that I do want to calculate it, which is called manual. Like I said, for most of you, the default automatic will work very well. But when you're working with really, really large files and complex models, it might really improve the efficiency of your file if you turn it to manual as in when required. Excellent. So we have seen the formulas tab, everyone. And in the next lecture, we will look at the data tab.